All right, now back here, if you look at the model drop-down list, it's empty. Because earlier we wrote this code, so when the user selects a make, then we populate the model's drop-down list. Now we need the same logic when initializing the form. But we don't want this last line here because this removes the current model in the vehicle. So I'm going to declare a private method and call it populate models. The reason this method is private is because this is purely implementation detail. We want to keep the interface of our classes small, so there are a few methods that are public and accessible from the outside. We don't want to expose the implementation details to the clients of this class. Remember, the DVD player is exactly the same. So I'm going to cut these two lines here and put them in this new method. Then in onMakeChange, I'm going to call this .populate models. Now that we have this method, we can also call it when initializing the form with this vehicle object. So in ngOnInit, when we get the results from the server, if we have a vehicle, we set it, and we also call populate models. So the models drop-down list is populated based on the make of this vehicle. Let's try it. All right, look, the model is selected. Beautiful. Next, we're going to work on these two radio buttons. This is fairly easy. So let's go to our vehicle form template, vehicleform.html. So here we have two radio buttons. All we need to change here is to apply this property binding syntax. With this, Angular will check this radio button if the value of vehicle.isRegistered is true. All right, back here, problem is fixed. And finally, the features. So here's the feature section. This is our checkbox. Here we're going to use attribute binding again. So binding this checked attribute to vehicle.features.includes f.id. So for each checkbox, if you have a feature with that ID, we're going to check that checkbox. And here's the result. So our form is populated perfectly. Next, we're going to implement the update.